All that shortly, but first some big news coming in and what could be the most crucial point in the extradition hearing for beleaguered Indian businessman Vijay Mallya. A UK court has set July 11th as the day for the final hearing. The date for closing the argument submissions has been set for July 8th. During that hearing today, the defense for Vijay Mallya claimed they want to be closing arguments in public and not handing it on paper. The judge seemed hesitant, but Mallya faces charges of financial misconduct. Remember, this is a huge development that we are getting in on that front. The final hearing is slated for July 11th. Let's go straight across now to our London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, who's been tracking the developments very closely on that front, is now joining us live. Mandy, this is a crucial development in this case. We've been tracking it right from the very beginning. Tell us what happened.
Well, in court today, the judge decided on admissibility, and certainly it seemed that the defense was looking to throw almost all the evidence the prosecution had brought up in terms of statements from witnesses and all the evidence. The judge said pretty much everything's in. It's a big victory for the Indian government. The one question she was still debating is one specific email between Mallya and his lawyer, but the bulk of evidence that was provided by the Indian government, which the defense really wanted to get it considered inadmissible, the judge has pushed back and said, no, it will be considered evidence in this court, in this prima facie case. So the other bit that the defense wanted, and they did get the go-ahead, was having the closing arguments, those final arguments, to be heard in court. The judge originally wanted to be handed in so she had time to absorb it, but she agreed to have those final arguments. So we'll hear the summation of the court, of course, in July.
Absolutely. Speaking a little bit more about this case, Mandy, tell us what Mallya's defense has been right from the very beginning and what the lawyer stated in court as well today.
Well, today the defense, Mallya's lawyers, pointed out that they had questions about from everything from the prison conditions, and they said, look, on the silhouette on the ground, there's more bars on the picture than there are of the actual prison picture, so we doubt that this is a true and accurate reflection of the prison conditions that Mr. Mallya would be under, because they were arguing that the prison conditions themselves should preclude him returning to India. The judge didn't seem to buy into that argument, and the prosecution said they could provide guided tours if the defense wanted, so they really seemed to throw out the argument that the prison conditions weren't up to scratch. Another argument was really the strength of that testimony. They felt a lot of it was formulaic or template, and the prosecution made a strong argument that how they collect evidence in India is simply different from how the English do it, and they had provided more submissions, more evidence from the Indian side showing that they had followed the normal procedures in collecting evidence. So the judge decided all that evidence will be part of the case. So it's a big win for the Indian government.
Indeed. We're going to leave it there for the moment. Mandy Clark getting us more details on a huge forward movement when it comes to the extradition of a beleaguered Indian liquor baron Vijay Mallya. The hearing is now slated for 11 July. The date for that's the date for the final hearing. So there is some clarity, some concrete development coming in on that front.